Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Story time. How I found out my mom was pregnant with my boyfriend's baby. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Story time. How I found out my mom was pregnant with my boyfriend's baby.
So it all started while I was on a girls' trip in Mexico. Roe versus Wade just got overturned that morning, and I was calling all of the women in my life just to see how they were, to check on them. And when I got to my mom, she was obviously distraught, crying. I didn't think anything of it because she's a woman, raising a woman in America, and she knows multiple other women who would be affected by this. So I talked to her, we ended the call, went back to my trip. 2 days later, I called my mom just to check on her, and she's still audibly distraught. You could tell she'd been crying, and I was asking her what was going on, and she wasn't telling me. And I was telling her, I was like, hey, tell me what's going on, or I'm going to get on a flight and come back and figure out what's going on myself. And ultimately, she ended up just telling me, after a few minutes, she was like, I'm pregnant. Now, when she told me that, I didn't think much of it. I was just really happy, really excited, because I never thought that I would have a younger sibling. So I was just congratulating her. You know, I was just ranting, talking about next steps, like, oh my God, did you set up the first ultrasound? How are you feeling? Blah, 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 making funny jokes, talking about names. And then she cuts me off and she was like, but it's Bi. We're going to call him John. John being my ex. My boyfriend at the time, I should say. I asked her to repeat herself because, keep in mind, I'm a little bit drunk. I'm in Mexico, come on. I asked her to repeat herself. I was like, what? And then she says, it's by John. After I heard that, my soul left my body. And everything that came after that, I was not ready for.
Okay, so you guys have heard the story so far. This is one effed up story. And what we know so far is she found out that her mom is pregnant with her boyfriend's baby. But wait, there is a part 2, and we're going to check that out as well. Let's get it.
As soon as I got off the call, all I could think to do was block. I blocked her and I blocked him immediately. At this point, as you can imagine, the trip is over. Pack my bags, come back home. Him and I were living together, so I had some of my friends come with me to get some things when I knew he wouldn't be there, and I stayed with one of my friends for a few weeks. Once next steps were figured out, that's when I went back to the house to go pack everything up and move into my new place. And I don't know if you guys have seen the other video where I was like, oh, he took all my things. That's what happened. That was when I walked into the house. Everything was gone, cleared out. He was out of there. So I call him. No answer. Okay. So I text him and he answers. To summarize those messages, he basically said that he took my things in order to get me to have a conversation with him, since I blocked him and wasn't speaking with him before. I asked him if he understands the magnitude of what he's done to me. He says he's sorry, and he told me that if I come back, he'll make things right, and we can rebuild our relationship, and that my mother would take care of the child. At that point, I gave him the ultimatum. I was like, give me my things or I'm putting you in jail. Ultimately, he gave my things back. I didn't go to get them. My friends, thank God for them, they went to go get my things. I got my things back. I got most of my things back, I should say. I didn't get my money back, but that's okay. I'm okay with taking that loss. And yeah. So after that, I haven't spoken to him again. I had multiple women reach out to me on socials once I started coming out with the story. and they've let me know that they've either had relations with him or they were in long-term relationships with him. So yeah, haven't spoken to him, still haven't spoken to my mom. Right now I'm in a new place. I'm trying to heal and I'm trying to move on with my life. So yeah, that's where we're at.
All right, guys, that's everything. This story is insane. And as always, the internet had a lot to say about this specific situation. But I'm also curious to know what you guys think. So go ahead and leave your comments down below, like initial reactions after you heard the story. What'd you think? And we're going to for sure check out these comments and see what the people had to say about the situation. Our first comment here comes from a woman who says, "Oh my gosh, I'd be telling this from prison." This next commenter says, "Please don't let other family members bully you into forgiving her either. I'm so sorry this happened to you." Yeah, this is a very, very difficult thing to go through, right? It's one of those things where you imagine things like this happen, but you don't actually hear about people sharing personal stories of these type of things happening to them, right? We've got another comment from a woman who asked, why is she even keeping it? So, of course, we've got a woman here who says, hey, she should be deleting that baby, you know, my body, my choice type thing. Someone responded and said, because it's her body and her baby, and she has freedom of choice. Oh, look, this is really interesting here because you have two people who both believe in my body, my choice, and one person is saying there's only one solution to this problem. Another person is saying, well, let her do what she wants. It's her body, her choice. And somebody added to this conversation and said, no shit, Sherlock, that's still trifling as F. Yeah, this is crazy, right? And I mean, just this whole situation, the fact that the mother was this careless, right? Because I'm gonna address her boyfriend as well, but first I'll start with the mom because she holds the highest level of accountability in the situation. This is your daughter, right? But the fact that she would put herself in this situation is beyond me. I wouldn't be surprised if a woman like her, who's capable of this, is actually thinking that she could probably have a relationship with that guy. Like she actually wants her daughter's boyfriend in her life and a co-parenting type situation. Listen, man, people are sick, right? People are crazy. In fact, people are so crazy that they don't drink coffee.
No, I'll have a tea actually.
And then you have the problem of this chick's boyfriend, right? There are men out here who lack discipline, sexual discipline. And this is what happens when you have a man who has no integrity and thinks with his other head, right? A man who has no sexual discipline cannot be trusted. We all know certain men who lack discipline to this extent, right? They put so much value in chasing women that they're willing to do anything, destroy anybody in relationships just to get what they want. Those men are weak. Next, we've got another comment from a woman that reads, rebuild the relationship and the mother will take care of the child. Excuse me? So this woman is surprised by the boyfriend's response of the possibility, right? He actually thought that this was a repairable situation. Let's all keep going like nothing happened, which another woman responded to her and said, I would accept the mother of the child would take care of her own child. What foolishness is that? And the lady responded and said he needs to contribute to taking care of his child as well. What the F? And finally, the last comment he reads, apparently that's his girlfriend's baby sister / brother. Got nothing to do with him. Yeah, this shit is straight off some like Maury episode or some shit like that. Next comment here reads, babe, please look up in your state and see if you have any commitment, intimate relationship laws. And so what this chick is basically telling this woman is to go check to see if she might qualify for like a common law situation, right? And if her state does respect common law or an idea of common law, then they would be married by default, right? Default of them living together depending on the period of time that they live together. And at that point, she would then be entitled to his assets. His assets become her assets, and his income becomes marital income, especially if it was mixed up between like each other's finances, right? And normally I'd feel bad for a guy who might be ignorant of that and puts himself in a situation where another woman is entitled to his assets. But in this situation, man, there's no empathy at all. This is sick. The mother here did a terrible, terrible thing and needs to be held accountable. And that this woman's future, her whole idea of relationships are probably ruined for the rest of her life to a certain extent. I mean, she could probably come back from this, but damn, this is some bitter coffee, right? Listen, man, I'm curious to know what you think of this situation. Comment down below. I appreciate you guys for checking out another episode of the Coffee Pod. Till next time, man, I'm out. Peace.